So, why are we all obsessed with AI? I mean, if you think about it, AI jumped on the screen a few years ago now, especially with this idea of ChatGPT and OpenAI. Suddenly, generative AI was everywhere. But if we look back at the history of AI, it's been around for ages. So, my name is Will Warren, and I am absolutely obsessed with AI. I use it every single day in my work. Everything from Gamma to ChatGPT. I've even started having a bit of fun and experimenting with agentic AI as well and building workflows. I also use sequencing tools and LinkedIn building tools and content building tools, etc., etc. And I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. But why are we suddenly looking at all of this? Well, AI has been promising us operational efficiencies and gains in so many different areas. But is it actually delivering it? Well, if you look at reports from people like Gartner and from MIT, they'll tell you that we're not. And AI isn't delivering on the results that it said that it would. And yet, companies all over the globe are investing tens of millions, pounds, dollars into this particular piece of technology. Somebody once compared the AI boom, if you like, that we're having right now to the dot-com boom or the property boom. I'm not sure if people saw it, but recently investors have started shifting their opinions around the future of AI, despite huge contracts being signed with companies like Oracle, for example. So why are we still so all obsessed with it? Is it just the new toy on the block? And we're all just like, yeah, let's just have a go at this. Let's have a play. Let's see what we can actually achieve with this. Or is it actually that we are transforming the way that we work? And there's just a generational thing. You know, if we remember the launch of the smartphone, yes, I'll admit my age. I was about 12 or 13 when the smartphone was launched, the iPhone 3G, and when that first came out. And again, completely transformed the way that we used mobile phones and had access to things. Applications were born. The internet in your fingertips was primarily born. Is that what we're seeing right now? And therefore, it will be our children and our grandchildren that will fully reap the rewards of AI one day? Or is it that this is actually something that we are just not quite at a point yet where we are utilizing it to its full extent? Is it the technology hasn't quite caught up with us? Or is it that we are not quite using it in the right ways yet? Are we still in the infancy period of AI? I would agree with the latter, to be honest with you. I think realistically, generative AI, which is the AI that most people tend to talk about, has only been mainstream around for about 3 years now. You know, with the launch of ChatGPT and OpenAI, suddenly people started having access to this every single day and could use it to do anything. And we were like, wow, I can literally get this to do all of this stuff for me. I can get it to research loads of things for me, write loads of things for me, organize loads of things for me. But then came in things like the introduction of hallucinations. You know, before OpenAI and ChatGPT, hallucinations were things that we had when we were maybe a bit drunk or unwell or something like that. But now hallucinations mean something very, very different. So where are we going with AI as an organization, as people, and as a world? Well, I think that really touches on another key point. Is AI a business tool or a personal tool? Lots of organizations, Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, would like us to believe that AI tools are meant for business. They're meant for large organizations. Of course they would, because then they're selling to an audience of 1,000 users rather than just one lonely person at a time. And I'm not an expert. I'm just somebody who's using this on a day-to-day basis. I've done my research though. I'm using these platforms. I'm understanding the benefits of them. So I'm still struggling to see that connection between whether AI is meant for business or whether it's for personal. Now, when I say personal, I'm not just saying let's make a load of cat videos and post them on YouTube. Okay, again, I am really showing my age there. But what I'm talking about is individuals utilizing AI to its fullest extent rather than a kind of a business hub of AI. where people can then utilize it. Now, that isn't to say that AI can't be a part of processes, right? And I think it should be a part of processes. We should really be using AI every single day. So, what is the thing that's kind of stopping it from connecting and being really openly used and really successful in organizations? Well, the one thing that I always make sure when I'm using AI is that the information that it's using to generate the results for me, the content for me, the emails for me, is backed up by trusted knowledge. Now, that can come in many different forms. That can come on uploads. So I make sure that I'm regularly teaching my ChatGPT instance about all the work that I'm doing, the new publications from the company that I work for, the new bits of information that are on in the market, the research that's been done by the likes of MIT, McKinsey, Gartner, Forrester, KM World, for example. I'm making sure that it's got all of that information. And I'll tell you what, that has drastically reduced the amount of things like hallucinations and information failures and wrong results coming off the back of it. Because that's the key point. And I think this is something that we always forget. And this is something my dad taught me about computers 30 years ago. They're like really well-behaved children. They really want to please you. They really want to give you the right answers, but they don't quite know what they're doing. We have to still teach these systems, these processes into these platforms. So the more that we're able to kind of build trusted knowledge inside our AI instances, and we can do this at a personal level, this doesn't have to be at a business level. The more we feed it with information, the more prompts that we build into the system based on that trusted knowledge, the more our AI is actually going to start giving us the results that we're looking for. And we're seeing this across the board. You know, so many different organizations now are focusing on trusted knowledge. This idea of how do I get the right information into the hands of my AI? It used to be that we as individuals need to be trained. Well, we still do. You know, whenever we start a new job, go to a new company, new product or service is launched, we still have to be trained and brought up to speed on everything that's going on. So we need to do that for AI now, because if we don't, it will continue to hallucinate and we won't get the results that we're looking for. So that's got to be our starting point. Loading it up with information, giving it the context and the backstory that it needs. But then it needs the methodology. Whatever type of work that you're in or whatever organization you're in, methodology is king. And that can be sales methodology, that can be operational methodology, HR methodology, construction, field services, etc., etc. Every organization, every industry, every vertical has its own methodology and way of doing things. That doesn't necessarily need to come from your organization, though. Loads of companies exist. They're all in your vertical. Perhaps they're some of your competitors. But lots of people are talking and speaking about methodology and about the way that you do business today. And this has slowly advanced over the years. Now, I've worked in sales now for, the better part of 7 years or so. So I'm very much invested in sales methodologies, understanding psychological areas, understanding how to build that trust and build that relationship. So I've uploaded huge articles, hundreds of different ideas and different methodologies, different research papers on sales methodology. So I've got my context, right? I've got all the knowledge that I've built into there. Now I've built my methodologies into there. My final phase is then, what am I trying to create? Because I now need to take that context and that methodology and present it in a way that fits with what I am trying to achieve. And that's where prompts come in. GPT prompts are genuinely fantastic and I love them. I genuinely use them on a daily basis. Everything from a pick-me-up to building emails, to building LinkedIn content, to how to communicate with people, how to give myself a, kick up the bum when things might not be going well. So as long as you've got that knowledge, that context, that methodology, you can then start getting AI to deliver anything you like for you because it knows what it needs to produce. It's got the guardrails in place because that's the other thing. You really need to tell it, no. Only use the knowledge I've given you. Only use these methodologies to help construct your answer. And this is how I want the answer to be presented. And this is what I need from you to be able to deliver that. That's a really simple 3-step process. Is it easy? No, I'll put my hands up and say it's not, right? That will take you time. But the time saved off the back of that is enormous because when you're able to deliver on that kind of three-step process, context and knowledge, methodology, and then delivery, suddenly everything becomes easy. Now, quick thing I did learn though is ChatGPT regularly refreshes its memory. So you do need to continually update it. I'm going to admit to you guys, I don't know a huge amount about how that works within platforms like Gemini, for example. It's not a AI agent that I use, an AI facility that I use very much. But I know in ChatGPT, their memory refreshes on a regular basis. So you do need to update that and you do need to continuously improve. But we're all iterating every day anyway, right? Realistically, if you're just turning up at your job and doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, well, finish the sentence. It's one of the clinical definitions of madness. So how do we iterate? How do we continuously improve? Well, we continuously update and improve the memory, the knowledge, the information, the methodologies that we're using. We constantly build on that and improve on that. And we constantly improve on the delivery. Hey, look, here I am, and I'm just making a video this morning. You know, it's not something I normally do, but I really want to start engaging with people on this because I love AI. I think it's fabulous. I think it's so impactful in our world today. And I'd love to hear how other people are using it as well and what tips and tricks you're finding. Because as long as we're going to be using this, AI isn't going anywhere. As long as it's going to be around, we might as well get the best out of it from a personal and from an organizational standpoint. So how do we get to that point? Those are my tips and tricks. If anyone got anyone else, I would love to hear about it. Drop it in the comments. But genuinely, embrace AI. It is here to stay. And now it's about how do we get the most out of it. For me, it's that three-step process. I would love to hear your thoughts though. Have a good one.